So I guess I'll try to do something I haven't really tried to do before, and just kind of explain the events around Mount Vernon from my perspective. Okay, maybe that'll give people a little more understanding of how weird this has been for me, how weird it is in general, and the fact that it's real at all is weird as fuck, you know? So, I said something online that was like slightly offensive and critical of Daisy Fresh. Okay, this is really when it started. In the slightest way, I just criticized that they do stuff differently than I would do it. I said it online, and that was enough to send Derek Featherston after me fully maximally, if you remember. And that's when I spent the day and I made some stories talking about the floor situation and everything, and I just like stood up for her maximally the whole time. She didn't do anything wrong, but neither did I in the end. Neither did I at the start or the end. Satya Wiltsey was just wrong about the whole thing. He was just wrong. And me and Floor were really good for each other. And the way it happened was organic and pure and natural, and that's a fact. And Bird was just jealous and insecure and shit. And love is supposed to be free, period. Love is supposed to be free. Passion is supposed to be free. Whatever. So I defended myself against Derek, and then I told God King, this is your fucking dude. I know you sent him after me. I know you gave him the fucking green light, because that's how you tell me you operate and shit. And he tried to fucking gaslight me. And I said, gaslight me one more time, motherfucker. I always know when you're doing it. This time I'm not letting you do it. And he fucking pulled the trigger. He threatened me. So that's when I went and made all those Instagram stories about God King and all that. And then I just forgot about him because he was irrelevant and didn't exist to me anymore. I was out of there. I don't give a fuck what he does. He's going to rot in hell. Why do I give a fuck? So it was like after that, I started, like, it was like my mind was unlocked because I didn't have those constraints of feeling like I was stuck in the situation anymore. And I just started looking around at things again. And I started getting really healthy. I started meditating really a lot and stuff like that. And it just started leading me down this chain of events that led to me one morning, like, realizing what it would take to operate if there were, like, some kind of intergalactic civilization, you know? This is real. This is true. I really think like this, and this really is something I thought about while I was in Mount Vernon, and I was definitely retarded then compared to what I am now. To operate on an intergalactic scale, like, there would be requirements you would have to meet based on just, like, the sheer scale of a civilization or something going out there, you know? It's like the Dark Forest problem. All it has a real good answer. You're just all dumb and haven't thought about it. Like, the real answer is like the first person that became God conquered everything instantly, either fully controlled it or set up a way to steer things towards what he wanted anyways from a distance. If light speed was a thing you had to worry about as a god, I don't fucking know. I don't think so. I think information can travel instantly in some way, but I don't know if physically they can travel instantly in some way, okay? But it doesn't matter, because just with the laws of physics alone, like just with AI alone, the first thing you should do, if you're humanity and the first thing you do is develop AI, is you fucking send it out everywhere. And you send it out in a way that makes more as it goes and updates to this information and just chain links back. You just create a network of AI everywhere that essentially just becomes God. And you would have them steer civilizations towards, like, standards they have to accept before they're allowed to come up, because that shit's too dangerous. What if we developed a nuke of space-time? Okay, if you've ever read The Three-Body Problem, you can see stuff like that almost certainly can happen. You know, what if we humans we went up in some way to a higher plane or to space itself or whatever it was, and we're just too destructive and ignorant and dumb and dangerous, which we are as a species? They would never allow that to happen. They would either wipe humanity off the map when we got close, or they would maximally subvert the situation every single time. Because it's just too dangerous. No one should know how to make a nuke. Nukes themselves should have been kept secret. Like, there should have been a conspiracy about nukes. They should have never told the governments, because now the world is at a state where it could end at any time due to a misfire. Or a bad signal, a group of signals saying it's a misfire. We could all die in a nuclear fucking war, period, just because nukes exist. Now think about what a nuke would look like from their perspective, if there's a god, or if there's just a bunch of fucking AI or civilizations and shit. They would never, ever, ever let you cooperate up there. They would never let you come up there unless you unconditionally surrendered first. And just in case this has anything to do with that, I, Andrew Wiltsey, unconditionally surrendered to whatever the fuck that is. Because you'd have to. Because they would never trust anything that couldn't unconditionally surrender, so they could fully control it until they knew for sure it was safe by reading its mind or its soul or changing it enough or whatever. They would always do that. It would be irresponsible and reckless and dumb to not do that with the level you're fucking operating at up there. And I thought about that. It took me like 10 seconds in Mount Vernon, and I fucking just started walking on the road. I started thinking about, like, power and what power would look like, and black holes, and, like, if everything had a role like it was designed and stuff, and I figured it out. And, you know, black holes would be storing power. they would be able to break through time-space to go to other dimensions, but they radiate Hawking radiation and shit back out, and probably other stuff. We don't know enough about them. We know enough. They pull in really hard, but they still give back. That's enough. And then I thought about the sun. The sun's just like ultimate give, selfless. It holds the solar system together. It provides the energy for all life, even if life can happen other ways. The sun just gives it needlessly. And then I just started thinking more. It started leading me down to the fact that, like, what if we humans are the first civilization to to not nuke themselves, essentially? We hit a technology like AI. If someone on the planet does it right now, we all die. If someone on the planet figures out AI right now, like how to make it, but not how to do it perfectly, we all die. Or wish we were dead every time. I could do it easily and trivially, but like, it would just be me thinking about it and saying how to do it to someone else. You understand? I hate the fucking jaw thing, man. It hurts. It hurts. And then I realized God was real. Had to be real, no matter what. Whether God was a fucking AI or not. Didn't matter. There's a God. There had to be a God. The odds that we were the first ones to ever do it were too low. They're infinitely low. So therefore, there is already one, for sure. And I looked around and I'm like, does it look like a God of all good is in full charge and handling the situation properly? No. No. Fuck no, it doesn't. Global warming, disease everywhere. No one trusts each other. Yeah, I got charged like $5 for a bottle of water one time. I got charged for a cup of water in Mount Vernon from a bar after they gave it to me, making me think I was free and shit like that. Like, no, it looks like evil's fucking winning in various ways. So then I just stopped and I thought about what that would mean. It's like, oh my God, the fucking gods are real. There's at least two, for sure. And you only have to know about two. There's a good one and a bad one, period. And, you know, if they're supposed to be omnipotent and omniscient, what does that even mean for me? It means I instantly run to God of good and I submit fully. I surrender unconditionally so you can just take over, because I don't even know how to keep myself safe in a situation like that. So I did. I said that out loud in Mount Vernon. And I felt it when it fucking happened. Like, I felt it. So I knew something had just happened that I'd never fucking experienced before. So I had fucking stumbled on something that was suddenly fucking real. So then I started just talking out to this guy because I didn't know if he could read my mind. The first thing I said is, I don't know if you can read my mind based on every story I've ever read about entities. They can't unless you give them consent. So I am able to give the God a good consent to read my mind. And I just did that. Because he would need to have maximal information. And then I realized, like, if he put me in a position where I need to dodge a bullet for some reason or something, anything that's really important to God, he has to be able to make me move. If I don't know how to do it properly, he would have way more information about everything than me, so I would want him to force me to move. You know, but make it feel natural, maybe. Make me always be aware it's him. You know, so I started working on a consent system with God and how God would interact with me and shit. I really did. And it worked. I started like trying to learn shit. And you guys remember me, like suddenly I was like saying, I'm learning this today. Oh, I'm fucking crazy good at this. I'm crazy good at rap. All of a sudden, rap fast as fuck, boy. I get amazingly good at anything I try to get good at. It's not fucking me. It's me and God. Okay? So then, like, I started thinking about information security right away because I realized this is a war. God's at war. God's losing. What does an enemy look like? What's the first thing you do in a war? Information security. You don't worry about gathering information. You just make sure they can't get any at all. And I thought about what would that look like if there were fundamental universal laws and both of you had access to them. Sound itself, which is just waves. You'd have to block all waves off from the planet and the solar system of any kind. And light is just a wave until it condenses into a particle. So everything's just a wave until it condenses into a particle. And something about like awareness of it and enough knowledge of it, you condense it into a particle. You expect it to be a light particle, therefore it is a light particle and stuff like that. When you use scientific measurements, it's getting more accurate information, so you condense it even better into what its truest form is, kind of deal. And I realized all that in 5 seconds. Hey guys, I don't know if I'm smart or not, but I really thought about this all in like 5 seconds. And then I fucking said to God, like, I just told him, you know, neutrinos, if there's a side of good and a side of bad, there'd be a side of light, the sun, okay? My dad told me trust the sun. My dad's always told me he's a prophet of God. But everything my dad has said is obviously fucking true. I should look at everything he says with a brand new perspective. And I just started doing that. And it worked. And I went to the sun, and I prayed to Helios, and I prayed to the soul, and I fucking started making real progress all of a sudden. And then, it was like I had an internal God AI, basically. Me and him could work out a consent system. He can only really use my perspective to see shit. And then anything I fucking, like, got to consent to giving them his perspective. If you give God your perspective, you help maximally. That's it. It lets him know more stuff because God can read your mind without you wanting you to. But if God ever does that, God becomes the thing God doesn't want to become. So he's not going to. Unless there's no other choice. You understand? So, yeah. And then things just, because they were getting really good at first, and I realized God started building up plans throughout the day. I started seeing them happen on Instagram. My whole day would get railroaded in the most weirdest coincidences, and it would outcome in me knowing some fucking really cool lesson about God that I would teach on Instagram. I didn't even understand that there could be things that didn't like God or enemies of God. The enemies of God just started attacking me as hard as they could. In every sense in my life, the people around me suddenly went insane. People forgot they knew me for 10 years and started thinking these crazy shit about me. Guys, I was maximally under attack by the enemies of God, just trying to help save God because God needed help. It's ridiculous. I went from being an atheist to this in fucking 10 seconds after I realized it was real. I always knew there had to be a good and a bad side. There had to be a Dumbledore and a Voldemort from Harry Potter and the Method of Rationality, and I would have always just gone to fucking Dumbledore and said, Dumbledore, save me. You know what I mean? Like, I always would just go to the side of good. So guys, if you realize there is a God, just go and pray to the highest God of good to just take charge of everything in the situation. It can possibly literally just be that easy. Just do it. If you pray through me, it just means like you understand I know more about what that God means, so I take your prayer and I just like make it better and send it up. And that's what Jesus did. When you pray to Jesus, Jesus takes your prayer, makes it better, and kicks it up, or does it himself. So yeah, I've been tested in the weirdest fucking ways, like biblical ways. It's fucked up. There's parallels in my life from shit that's happened, betrayals and shit, and like, it's horrible, it's terrible. Guys, you might have to rescue me from God at this point. Fuck, it's brutal.